Hi, my name is Usama Ikram, and this is my project number one for the Computer Science 168 class, Programming 2 Methods class. Okay, so this is the menu. I'm going to try to run the menu first and do all the steps that we were asked to do, and then I will go through my code and explain what I have done and why I have done different things in my code to run to perform different actions. Okay, so I have printed out all the steps that we were asked to do for the project number one menu class. Um, I have tried to do it in a loop, so I perform one step at a time. Okay, let's run it, and then I'll explain while we are doing it, and then after that, I'll explain the code too. Okay, so this is menu for the school database. Okay, these are the different steps that we're gonna perform today. So enter one of the actions from top, press 0 to exit if you wanna exit the loop because it's an infinite loop. You have to press 0 to break the loop and get out of it. Otherwise, it's gonna keep asking you to do different things from these steps. Okay. 100 is to display all the objects that have been created so far. And then rest of the stuff I will explain while I go through it step by step. Let's say, okay, let's try to display what we have created so far. As we don't have created any object so far, so it doesn't show any object, courses, faculty, general staff, or student. Okay, now we're gonna create three new course objects first. Okay, so to do that, we have to press 1, enter 1. Okay, create three new course objects. So enter the information for the first course 1 in the following format only. Okay, this is important now. I have asked user to enter the input for the details for the course number 1 in the exact format. Now, if the user doesn't enter the input in the exact format, the program will not crash, but it will ask the user to enter the valid input. So it will keep asking the user to enter the valid input unless the user enter the valid input in the same format as it has given a preview. Okay, let's say I'm gonna try to not give it a proper input first and see what happens to make sure if does it crash or does it create the course object. Okay, let's say computer, the course department, then the course number. Let's say it's asking for the course number. Let's say I press if the course is graduate or not. Okay, course number 124, course 4. Okay, it says invalid information, format or order. So the order matters, the format matters, everything matters. Okay. Okay, so we have seen it doesn't work. I'm gonna try to do I'm gonna try to run it fast because we don't have a lot of time to make the video. Okay, so now we have seen it doesn't work with the invalid input if the format is not right. Now, what if the format is right? Let's say course department map, course number 320, course credits 4. Now, true or false for the course if the course is graduate or not. Let's say it's graduate. Okay, good. Course number 2. Now enter the information for the course number 2 in the following format, same format. If it's not the right format or order, it's gonna say invalid, and then it's gonna ask the user again for the input, valid input. Okay, so we're gonna create the second course object, computer 168 3. Okay, for the third course, let's say history. History 101, course 3, let's say false this time. Class, false. Okay. So the three course objects have been created. Now, what if we want to see it, if we have created them right or not? We can display, okay? Remember, we can display. Okay, press 100 to display all the objects that have been created so far. Yep, here are they. Course 1, Math 320, number of credits 4, graduate. Course 2, course 3. Now we know they have been created successfully. Okay, now I will create the three faculty objects using the same strategy. Then the three general staff objects, then the three new student objects, and then we will print the details and check if we have created them right or not. Okay, so we have created three course objects. Press 2 for the three new faculty objects. So I'm using the same strategy. If the input is not valid, it's going to keep asking the user for the valid input. So I'm not going to try to show everything here because we don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to try to do it faster. Let's say the SAM 1996 department computer and tenure, yes, true. Faculty 2, Mike 1990 department history, true. Okay, for Mike, for the third faculty member, let's say Lily 1999 math professor, false. Not false, false. Okay, faculty members have been created. Now we're gonna create three new general staff objects. Okay, to press 3. Okay, same strategy. Invalid input is not gonna go unless you put the valid input. General staff number 2, let's say okay, here I've missed one of them. Okay, it's gonna ask again. It works at a bank. Management. Okay, so three general staff members have been created too. Now we're gonna create three student objects. To create them, we're gonna enter 4. Okay, same strategy. First name, let's say we have a name 1998. What is the major? Major is math. What is it's a graduate student? Sure. For the second student object, name Max 1990, birth year, department, computer. Okay. For the third student, we have Joe. Birth year, major, let's say history. Okay. So we have created three new course objects, three new faculty objects, three new general staff objects, and three new student objects. Let's display them and see if we have created them or not. Actually, we have created them. Okay, here we have three courses, we have three faculty, we have three general staff members, we have three student members. Okay, now the next step, fifth step, is to add 2 new courses to a faculty object. Okay, for the step 5, it's not asking anything for the user, because what I'm doing is it says we're going to add the first 2 courses from our previous courses that we created to the first faculty member we created. And then first 2 courses have been added to the first faculty member. Next step is step 6. So step 6 is doing last 2 courses that we created. We're going to add to the second student that we also created. Okay, now we're going to see if these courses have been actually added or not. Remember, we added the first 2 courses to the first faculty member, then the last 2 courses to the second student. Okay, let's display. Okay, so the first 2 courses were added to the first faculty member. Here's the first faculty member. 2 courses have been added, Math 320 and Computer 168. Then we added the last 2 courses to the second student. Here is the second student. 2 courses have been added, Computer 168 and History 101 from our previous courses. Here, the last 2. So it has done. Okay, the next step is number 7, adding an array of 2 courses to a faculty object. Press 7 for that. Okay, here, so the previous 2 steps, what I did, I put the existing courses to the faculty members. This time, I'm going to create 2 new courses. I'm going to save them in an array, then pass that array to the second faculty member we created. Okay, so I have to create the new courses. Let's say math. Real quick, we're going to create. So here, same strategy I'm using to create the new course to the new course object. Okay, if the input is invalid, it's going to keep asking the user for the valid input with the same format that has been asking. Okay, course department. What is the course number? Let's say 420. What is the credits? Let's say 3 credits. False. Second course now. Second course is arts 100, 3. Okay, 2 new courses have been added to the second faculty member. Now the next step is add an array of 2 courses to a student. Press 8 for that. Okay, same way. We're going to create 2 new courses real quick. Music 220. Credits 3. False. Okay, computer 330. 4. Graduate. Okay, now we're gonna see if these 2 the array courses that we pass to the student and faculty objects, if those have been added or not. Let's display. Okay, so for the step 8, we added these 2 courses to the first student object. Okay, first student object, 2 courses have been added, music 220 and computer 330. Music 220 and computer. For the step 7, we added these 2 courses to the second faculty member, Math 420, Arts 100, to the second. Math 420 and Arts 100. Okay, it's working right so far. Okay, for the 9th step, get the course at index from a faculty object. Press 9 for that. Okay, enter a course index for the second faculty member. Okay, we're gonna try first to enter an invalid index. Let's see what it says. Does it crash or does it say a message? Remember, second faculty member. Here is the second faculty member. We have a course at index 0 and we have a course at index 1. Okay, let's enter a random number. Let's say 5. It's an invalid index because we don't have any course at index 5. It says, sorry, the index you entered is invalid. We're gonna try to run this time with a valid input. Let's say at 0. We have a course at 0. We have, for the second faculty, we have Math 420 at index 0. Let's say what it says. Math 420, course for index 0, Math 420 with the details of the course. For the step 10. Step 10 is accessing a course for a student object this time. Same thing, if it's an invalid, it's not gonna put, it's gonna say invalid input. Let's say with the input, invalid input, first student. So the first student, we have music 220 at 0 index and computer 330 at the first index. That's random. It says invalid index. Okay, we're gonna try to run the step 10 again. Now this time with the valid. So for the first student, index 1, we have computer 330. Is that right? For the first student at index 1, we have computer. We have for the first student at index 1, we have computer 330. 0 index, first index, computer 330. That's what our computer 330, that's what it has returned. Okay, the next step, step 11. From a faculty object, check if that faculty teaches a specific course. Okay, we have a faculty, okay, it's asking enter a valid faculty number. Okay, a valid faculty number. We have a faculty number 1, 2, 3. Let's say we choose 2. Okay, enter a valid course number this time. Okay, what is the valid course number? Okay, the faculty 2, we're gonna see faculty 2. Here is the faculty 2. It's teaching Math 420 and Arts 100. Okay, and at the course in number 3, it's history. So it's not teaching. So say, let's see what it prints at the course number 3. Okay, we pick the course, the faculty member 2, and we pick a course number 3. No, faculty at number 2 does not teach course at number 3. Now this time, let's try to pick a course that some faculty does teach. Okay, so we're gonna pick course 2 this time, computer 168, because our faculty 1 teaches 168. So let's see what does it say this time. So this was step 11. Okay, enter a valid faculty number. We're gonna pick 1, and the course we're gonna pick 2. Yes, faculty at number 1 teaches the course at number 2. Okay, I'm gonna try to display the message again, because to see it, I have to scroll to the high. Okay. The next step is step 12, determine which faculty objects teaches the most and the least courses. Okay, so far, the faculty that we have created and we have added some courses to them. Let's see which faculty member teaches the most and which of them teaches the least courses. Okay, to do that, it's step 12. We have to enter step 12. Okay, here is the message. Determining which faculty teaches the most courses. Okay, faculty number 1 teaches the most courses. Here is the information for that. Okay, faculty 1, Sam, teaches the most courses. Yes. Okay, faculty 3 teaches the least number of courses. Faculty number 3 teaches the least number of courses because it doesn't teach anything. So it's working properly. Step 13, we have determined which course is the minimum of all courses objects in the catalog. So history 101, number of credits 3, which is a course number 3, is the minimum of all courses. Is that true? These are the courses. History 101 is the least number of course so far. Okay. For step 14, we are at 14 now. Almost done with it. Okay. For the 14th step, it says which course is the maximum of all courses from our courses area. So course number 1 is the maximum course. Here is the information, Math 320 for graduate. Okay. Math 320 credits 4 is the maximum. It has the maximum number of credits. That's true. Okay. Next step is 15. Determine which student has the most and the least credits. Step 15. Here is the first student. The first student has the most credits. Is that true? The first student has the most credits. Yes. And it says student number 3 has the least number of credits. Here is the information. Now, the 16th step here is to write the details of all the objects created so far to a file named SchoolDB updated text. Now, we have so far, okay, I'm gonna try to display all the objects again. So we have 3 course objects that we created, 3 faculty objects, 3 general staff objects, 3 student objects. Now this information, we're gonna write it to a file named SchoolDB updated.txt. And to do that, we have to press 16. So we're gonna enter 16. It says details of all the objects created so far has been written to a file named SchoolDB updated text. Okay, let's see if it has added or not. So here it's updated. All the information is here that we created. So course, that's an employee, faculty, that's an employee, general staff, that's an employee, that's a student, person, student. So the information is here. Okay, now I'm gonna go through my, okay, to exit, we have to enter 0 here. You have press 0 to exit. Have a good day. Okay, so all the steps we have performed, and we have tried to enter some invalid inputs, and the program doesn't crash. Now I'm gonna go through my classes, the codes. Okay, so here I'm using different arrays like course array, faculty array, general staff array, student array to save my objects that I create. So this is the information that I'm keep printing on display for the steps that you can do. So this portion is to display all the objects that have been created so far. Then I'm gonna go through my methods that I have created first. So I have created these methods for me to help me in the main method, so I don't have to do those things again and again. Okay, so the first method is to create course user base, means to create a course object asking the input from the user. So what I'm doing is printing the format, in what format the user is supposed to enter the input. I'm splitting it using a comma, fetching that information, converting that information, passing those arguments to a course object, and then I'm returning this course object. Same thing for creating a faculty object user base, means asking the details about the faculty member from the user. Same thing for the general staff, same thing for the student. Now these methods I'm using whenever I'm creating a new course. I'm calling one of these, like any object, I'm calling one of these methods. Help me to create my objects for course, faculty, student, or general staff. Okay, here. If the user has entered 1, create 3 new course objects. So I'm running a loop 3 times using the create course user base method, creating a course and putting it into the array that we created before. Same thing for creating 3 faculty objects, general staff objects, student objects. Step 5 was to add 2 new courses. So here I picked course 0, which is the first course, course 1, which is the second course, and add course taught to the faculty to the first faculty. Then for the sixth step, same thing, picking two last courses and adding to the second student using the add course taken method. For the seventh step, I'm creating a new course, putting it in an array. So I'm using the same create course user-based method to create a course and putting it into the array. Now I put two courses into the array, and then I passed that array to the add courses taught for the faculty member. Same thing for the student, passing an array to the add course taken to the student object. Step 9 was to access a course. So if the index is invalid, means if there is nothing on the index, it's gonna say, sorry, the index you entered is invalid. If the index that the user has entered, so first I'm asking, okay, so I have to enter an index for some faculty to access the course from that faculty member. So remember, I was using the second faculty member, and if the input would be, so get course taught at I. The I is the index that user entered. So if that index has some course, it will be not null, and then we would print the message, the course for index that the user has entered. Using the toString method, I'm also printing the course details. Now, if the index would be null or it would be invalid, it would say, sorry, the index you entered is invalid. Same thing for the course, for the action 10, for the step 10, fetching a course from the student object. For the step 11, check if some faculty teaches a specific course. So ask user for a valid faculty member. It keeps asking the user for the faculty member unless you enter a proper valid faculty member. Same thing for the course, valid course. Ask valid course, enter valid course. Now here I'm checking that faculty member that user has picked teaches using the toEqual method. So I'm going through all the courses that that faculty member has taught and using toEqual method, comparing that course that user has picked, and if there is a course that matches the course, I'm printing the details and breaking out of the loop. If you break out of the loop, and if the loop just runs out and no course is equal to the course that user has picked, it would just show the message that faculty at specific number does not teach a specific course. Same thing here for the faculty. So here I'm going through all the faculty members and comparing them one by one and seeing who's teaching the more courses and who's teaching the less courses. Okay, for the step 13, going through all the courses from the course array and seeing which course is the minimum. For the step 14 was to determine which course is the maximum. Same thing, going through all the courses using a loop and checking if which course is the maximum from all those courses, and then printing the information for that course. Step 15 was to see which student has the most and which student has the least credits. So here the same thing, going through all the students using the to compare to method, seeing if a student is higher than some student, accessing them, I'm saving the index of them. So I don't have to save the whole student object. I'm just saving that index and using a loop, checking which student has the most credits and which student has the least credits. Now, the 16th step was to write all the objects that we have created so far to a plain text. So using print writer, I'm taking a string first. So I'm putting all the objects details to the string first, and then opening the file and giving it the whole string that we created one by one, using all the objects details, then passing that string to the outstream.println to write it on the schooldb updated.txt file. And then if the file doesn't found, there will be an exception, and finally closing that. Okay, so this was my menu class. Now I'm gonna go through really quick about the other classes. My other classes has already passed all the tests from the Zybook, so I don't have to really go deep into it. So this is my course class. I use the same UML that we were provided, and using that UML, I have created all these methods for the course class, and I have created these variables, equal method, comparing everything, toString method, using the same format, returning a string, compare to method, comparing the two courses using their course number, which one is bigger, or if it's bigger or smaller, and returning the number. This is for the person. This is for employee. This is the faculty class, which extends the employee class. This is something that I wanted to mention. If we were told that the faculty member can only teach the maximum courses that they can teach is 100. So I initially initialized the course taught array to 100. And here in the add course method, I'm checking if the number of courses has already been past 100 or it's less than 100. If it's less than 100, then it's add the course. Otherwise, it don't add the course. Same thing using that when you pass the array to the add courses taught method, it fetches the courses from the given array one by one, and using the add course taught method, adding those courses one by one to the method. Now, if the array, let's say, has 10 courses in it, to add it to the courses taught, and we already have, let's say, 95. So it will just add 5 courses from the given array, and the rest 5 it won't add to the courses taught. And it won't crash because it's just gonna get out of the, it's not gonna do anything because the number of courses would be 100, and this condition would be false, and it won't do anything. So yeah, that was something that I thought that I can explain. The rest is the same thing, using the same UML. I created all these methods using the same format. I'm returning this string for the toString method. This is my general staff class, extends employee. It has a to. Oh, so this class doesn't have a to compare to method because it's using the same person class compare to method. Now the student class, same thing for the student class using. So here, the thing that I want to mention is for this, the courses taken, maximum courses a student can take. We were told to make it up to 50. So I'm checking here for the 50. If the number of courses taken is less than 50, then it will add the course taken. Otherwise, it won't add. It won't do anything. And the same thing here. And at the end, the driver school DB class, which is a main class, which has a main method in it. Same thing, I have a file using a try and catch to open the file, and I'm printing line by line all the information from the school DB file and printing it to the console. If the file doesn't found, it throws an exception, but it doesn't catch. It doesn't. The program doesn't crash, and at the end, just close that. Now these, I have created these objects in the same order as we were told. We were told to create it in the same order with the information we were given. So here I have created them with the given details. Here I'm printing all those using the toString method. Okay. So here, this was my project, and I will upload this video to the YouTube, and yeah, I'll enter the URL for the YouTube video to my menu class on the top. I will comment it so you can fetch it. Thank you so much.